morning. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Welcome everyone to today's special talks by two nuns, Pravrajika Bhavaniprana and Pravrajika Divyanandaprana from Saradamat, India. They will be giving two talks. The time will be divided into two parts. So, Pravrajika Bhavaniprana will speak on Mother Kali, the power behind the Ramakrishna order. And Pravrajika Divyanandaprana will speak on practical applications of spiritual sadhana. They have come to the West Coast in California to give retreats, and we took the advantage of their stay nearby. So they have agreed to give talks, and I welcome them and thank them also. Pravrajika Bhavaniprana, after completing her BDS in Bengaluru, Karnataka, India, joined the Saradamat, Chennai in 1975. Mataji also, we call them Mataji. We are called, what is called male monastic members are addressed or called by Swamiji, and female monastic members are addressed as Mataji. So this is a protocol probably you will like to remember. Mataji also served at Saradamat headquarters in Kolkata, India for 22 years in various capacities. She speaks throughout India in English, Kannada and Telugu. And she has visited Canada and the United States twice previously, offering talks on Vedanta and the harmonious message of Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Sarada Devi and Swami Vivekananda. Several of her talks have been uploaded as YouTube videos. Pravrajika Divyanandaprana specializes in the areas of Yoga Vedanta and teaches contemplative psychology at various universities. She is the author of two books, The Science of Happiness and Self-Discovery, unraveling the ultimate truth about human existence. Many of her talks have been uploaded as YouTube videos. Pravrajika Divyanandaprana has a unique combination of knowledge in the conventional sciences and traditional yogic and Vedantic texts. She has been lecturing all over India since 2010. Internationally, she has delivered talks, lectures, and scriptural discussions in South Africa, Ireland, Great Britain, UAE, Canada, and United States. And I welcome cordially to Mataji's, and I request Pravrajika Bhavaniprana to make her presentation.
Jananim Sarada Devi Ramakrishnam Jagadguru Padapatme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmu. With my pranams to the Holy Trio on the altar, and also Buddha and Jesus, and with my respectful pranams to Swami Prapanandaji. I am very glad to be present today here to speak on the topic Mother Kali, the power behind the Ramakrishna order, because this is just the day before the Kali Puja is approaching. So somewhere to connect ourselves to that, this topic was suggested. Swami Vivekananda once said to Nivedita, the future will call Sri Ramakrishna as an incarnation of Kali. Yes, I think there is no doubt that she worked through his body for her own ends. And you see, I cannot but believe there is somewhere a power, a feminine power, a great power, which thinks of itself as Mother Kali and the Divine Mother. And Swamiji also said when at Thousand Island Park, the Mother Kali is the Shakti, the power, divine energy, the omnipotence. And for a baby, she is all in all. Without worshipping Shakti, also called as Kundalini, sleeping in us, spiritual knowledge is not possible. If the absolute Brahman is the calm ocean, and the same without waves is Divine Mother, so Brahman and Shakti are inseparable, like the snake and its wriggling movement, fire and its burning power, milk and its whiteness. And Swamiji further said, a bit of mother, a drop was Krishna, another drop Buddha, and yet another Christ. Worship of even one spark of mother in our own earthly mother leads to greatness. Worship her if you want love and wisdom. So we know Sri Ramakrishna was a worshipper of Mother Kali, and we also read in the Great Master that he had initiation. He was initiated into the Kali mantra by one Kenaram Bhattacharya. We don't know much details about the Kenaram Bhattacharya other than that he initiated Sri Ramakrishna. And the Mother Kali, to know in our Hindu religion, she is she is the supreme power, and she is also supposed to be one of the Dashamaha Vidyas, that is Kali, Tara, Bhairavi, Bagala, Matangi, and Chinnamasta, Dhumavati, and Shodashi. All these 10 aspects of Divine Mother, the powers called Dashamaha Vidya, she is also one of them. And the Kali also represents the terrible and the fierce aspect of the divine, the ultimate divine power. And she is also representing the time, the death, and she is the spiritual consort of Kala, Shiva. And she also is said to be the Kali was said to be projected by the sattvic aspect of Divine Mother, Ambika. That's what we read in the Devi Mahatmya, which we recite regularly. And she was projected in order to destroy a special demon called Rakta Bijasura. And he had become invincible with a boon that every drop of blood that falls from him on the earth would create equal number of demons. So in order to destroy him, the Kali she was projected, and what she did was she extended her tongue to swallow all the blood drops before they fell on the earth, and thus the Asura, the demon, was killed. He became bloodless and he was killed. And the Mahakali is also supposed to be the tamasic aspect of the Divine Mother, whereas Mahalakshmi as the Rajasic aspect and Mahasaraswati as the sattvic aspect of the Divine Mother in the Devi Mahatmya. But to Sri Ramakrishna, the Mother Kali was much more than that. She was Brahman in form. Brahman and Kali are not different, inseparable, he used to say. And he also said, Kabir said, Sakar is my mother, Nirakar is my father. That is, God with form is my mother, God without form is my father. And Sri Ramakrishna, throughout his life, we find he had the attitude of child towards the mother, the divine mother, Matri Bhava. She had, his divine mother was his own mother. He was like a baby to her, and he worshipped the divine mother. And throughout his life, though he practiced different attitudes like Dasya, Vatsalya, Alsakya, Madhura, and other attitudes, but this attitude of a child towards the mother, the purest and the most beautiful attitude, that was his mainstay, we can say, throughout his life, even after he had realized that Nirguna Brahman, that is the absolute Brahman in Nirvikalpa Samadhi also. And ultimately he always had this idea, Ma ache na ami ache. Bhavana ki ache amar. There is a song. So mother is there and I am the child and she looks after me and I have surrendered myself to her. What is there to fear? That was his feeling. And not only that, he saw the divine mother in all women, not merely in women, even in man, in animals, in everyone he witnessed the divine mother only. From his early ages we find, as a mere boy when he was, and in his village of Kamarpukar, we hear once when there was a Shivaratri night, there was a drama performance and the actor who was supposed to do the role could not come, and the young Gadadhar, that was his previous name, he was asked to do that role, and while trying to act, he actually became transformed into a divine state and he had that bhava of Lord Shiva himself. He was transformed into Shiva itself, and it took a long time for him to come to normal state from that. And coming to how the Mother Kali is behind the Ramakrishna order, we can say the entire drama, everything began by Mother Kali's plan, we can easily say, because the stage was set by Mother Kali in this way. Rani Rasmani, one of the great devotees of Mother Kali, she used to sign herself as the maid servant of Mother Kali, Dasi, and she had planned for visiting the Benares and many pilgrimage places and had made huge arrangements. But just the previous day before embarking her journey, she had a dream where the Mother Kali stopped her going on her pilgrimage and asked her to build a temple for her here itself, at that place itself, and arrange for regular worship. So it was such a vivid dream, and immediately the Rani Rasmani's all plans were changed, and that was the reason why she built this beautiful temple complex where the Mother Kali is the main deity, but there are also the 12 Shiva temples, the small temples, Dwadasa Shiva Mandira, and one temple dedicated to Krishna, that is Radhakanta temple also. So we can also say, long before Sri Ramakrishna practiced the different religions, he practiced Shakta, Shaiva and Vaishnava religions and declared that the same truth is behind everyone. Here the stage was prepared as if a blueprint was there, and Mother Kali had set a stage for Sri Ramakrishna's practicing all these different sadhanas, it was there. And even this was long before, we can say, Swami Vivekananda preached that wonderful message of Sri Ramakrishna of Sarva Dharma Samanvaya, the harmony of all religions. So the seed was sown here itself by the Divine Mother Kali, and that was through her devotee Rani Rasmani. And it seems when the temple construction was over, the Mother Kali became restless that she should be immediately worshipped, and so the Kali, Rani Rasmani was very anxious and she fixed an immediate auspicious date for the worship of Mother Kali and her puja, etc. But in the beginning, Sri Ramakrishna's elder brother Ramkumar was appointed as the priest, but later Gadadhar, as he was called at that time, he took over this doing puja at this Mother Kali's temple, but with one condition. He said that he cannot take care of all this responsibility of the ornaments and all that should be taken care of by somebody else. And from this moment itself, we can say Mother Kali guided every moment of Sri Ramakrishna throughout his life. In fact, Sri Ramakrishna saw Divine Mother Kali everywhere, and in every action the Divine Mother Kali was behind him. He saw not only the Mother Kali in the image in the temple, but in all women, as I said, and even in his own wife, the Holy Mother also. And we can say Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother, mutually, they saw Mother Kali in each other. And Sri Ramakrishna, when he started puja here, and from now onwards, his entire mind was on the Divine Mother, and he was having this idea whether this mother was actually living goddess or it was merely an image. And he even tested putting a thread under her nose, it seems, and it started vibrating, and he was confirmed that it was the Divine Mother living and not merely an image. And he craved her for her vision, and day and night he was immersed in that sadhana, Kali sadhana, so much so that he lost track of time, he lost track of his own food, rest, and everything. He was not conscious to his own personal needs also. So day and night he was immersed, and so much he used to weep for the vision of the Mother Kali that one day he could not bear that. He used to even go to the bank of Ganga and roll on the ground, and he would weep so much, and his face would bleed, and people, onlookers, would think maybe he has lost his mother, or maybe he has a colic pain or something like that. And so much he was weeping for the Mother Kali's darshan, and at last unable to bear this separation from Mother Kali anymore, and he wanted to end his life. So there was a knife hanging in the temple of Mother Kali, and taking that, when he was about to chop off his own head, at that time the Divine Mother Kali revealed herself to him. But very strangely, it is recorded that in the beginning itself he did not see the Mother Kali. It was a Nirakar Darshan, means he saw the beam of light, the huge, that Jyoti Darshan only he had, and he lost his consciousness. And only after a long time, when he got back his consciousness, he was found to be repeating Ma, Ma, Mother, Mother. Probably he had the vision of Mother Kali at that time. So from now onwards, we find that always he was immersed in that Mother Kali's thought day and night. And he was unable to carry out his regular puja and worship as before. He could not follow the rules and regulations of puja worship. For hours together he would do the puja, hours together he would do the Vesper service, or sometimes the food offering, before offering to the mother, he would taste himself, or put the flower on his head and then put to mother. Sometimes he saw one cat, and he saw the Divine Mother Kali in that, and he fed that cat with that food before offering to the Mother Kali. So seeing all this, the priests and other onlookers, so many people around, they commented and they criticized, and they thought Sri Ramakrishna had become actually mad here. And whatever that, nothing concerned him. He was immersed in his sadhana, we can say. And anyway, he could not continue his puja further, because so much his mind was immersed in the thought of Mother Kali, he lost sense of time. And then the puja was handed over to Hriday and others. But the Mathur Babu, who was the son-in-law of Rani Rasmani, they allowed him to stay in the temple premises itself, though he was not doing any puja, and they attended to all his needs throughout his life. And in fact, Rani Rasmani and Mathur Babu thought it was because of his extraordinary devotion that the Mother Kali was awakened in the image of that Mother Kali, though other people had criticized and they had given so much petition against him. But they never believed that, and they were fully convinced that Mother Kali had become living goddess because of Sri Ramakrishna, and they respected him so much. For that they loved him and respected him. And Madhurnath even he thought Sri Ramakrishna was the Mother Kali herself, because he had such visions also. We hear when he was staying in his room, that Kuti building, they say, the premises, one day he observed that Sri Ramakrishna was pacing up and down in the veranda of his room. And when he walked in one direction, he saw him as Kali, and in another direction as Shiva himself. Then Mathur ran and fell at Sri Ramakrishna's feet. So he knew that Sri Ramakrishna was the divine God, the divine mother herself, and he was convinced that he had come to protect him and to be with him throughout his life. So they looked after all his needs in that way. And then Sri Ramakrishna continued his sadhana, and he stayed there in the premises of the Kali. And not only while Sri Ramakrishna stayed in Dakshineshwar, even in the later life we find sometimes people saw Mother Kali in him. In Kashipur garden we hear an incident when Girish Chandra Ghosh and some other devotees on a particular Kali Puja day, they worshipped Sri Ramakrishna himself as Mother Kali. And at that time Sri Ramakrishna was transported to the mood of Mother Kali, and with a beaming, smiling face, and he had shown the Abhaya Varada Mudra, that is bestowing boons and protection in his hands. So Mother Kali actually, she was present in him throughout his life, and other devotees, many of them also realized that Sri Ramakrishna himself was Mother Kali. And he not only saw Mother Kali in the image, as I said, he saw Mother Kali in his own wife, the Holy Mother Sharda Devi also. And we know how one day when Holy Mother, she was living at Dakshineshwar with him, and she asked him while messaging his feet, "What do you think of me?" He openly said that Mother Bhavatarini, the Kali in the temple, and his own mother who has given birth, Garbhadarini, that is Chandramani Devi, living upstairs of Nabak, and Sri Sharda Devi sitting in his friend, were not different. He thought all three as one and the same. And so Sri Ramakrishna not only saw Mother Kali in Holy Mother, he actually literally worshipped her. We all know under Shodashi Puja, that particular day, that she was that divine mother. Of course, as Shodashi he worshipped. At times he thought of her as Kali, at times as Shodashi, one of the other of the Dashamahavidyas, the benevolent aspect of the divine mother. And he had offered the fruits of all his sadhanas, and also including his japamala at her feet. And he had awakened the potential, that energy and the divinity in Holy Mother on that day. And Holy Mother also, we find, she also had that idea that Sri Ramakrishna was himself the Mother Kali. And she also was greatly devoted to the Mother Kali. We know how when Holy Mother had first time on her way to Dakshineshwar from Jairambati with her father-in-law, on the way she had fallen ill. And at that time, because she was not used to that strenuous journey, she had a vision of a dark complexion, beautiful girl, none other than the Mother Kali herself. And when she had asked about her whereabouts, she had revealed that she was her own sister and coming from Dakshineshwar, and also that she had kept Sri Ramakrishna safely for Sharada's sake then. So it appears that Sharada Devi should meet her husband Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar. It was all the Mother Kali's plan. She brought Sharada to meet Sri Ramakrishna at Dakshineshwar, and Sharada Devi, she was relieved of her all tiredness was gone and the fever was gone, and she went and she actually met Sri Ramakrishna. And Holy Mother also looked at Sri Ramakrishna as Mother Kali. There are many instances, especially we know, once she had a vision of Mother Kali, her head was bent to one side. Then she had asked, what is wrong with you? Then she had said, because he is ill. When Sri Ramakrishna had cancer of the throat, then she found Mother Kali was affected by that. Then Holy Mother realized that Sri Ramakrishna was Mother Kali and not anybody else. And at the time of, when Sri Ramakrishna passed away, when he attained Mahasamadhi, it is written that Holy Mother wept, saying, "O Mother Kali, where have you gone? Why have you forsaken me? For what mistake of mine?" So, because she thought Sri Ramakrishna's Mother Kali herself, that's why she wept in that way. But later, it so happened that she realized Sri Ramakrishna was not actually dead and he was always with her, and his spirit had entered into the Holy Mother, that as Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother were not different, they were inseparable. So this Mother Kali actually was present in Holy Mother also throughout her life, and she fulfilled Sri Ramakrishna's vision by Sri Ramakrishna's mission by continuing what he had left unfinished in her life, we can say. And some other cases also we can quote when Holy Mother was, many people had observed Divine Mother Kali in Holy Mother. One special incident which all of you know is that Telobello forest in that midnight when she had to encounter that couple, and when she was alone, her companions had left, and she had very naturally approached him as a father, and he also treated her affectionately as his daughter and looked after her and escorted her. But later when other people asked him, what speciality you saw in Holy Mother on that particular day, then he revealed that he had seen Mother Kali in Holy Mother. So Mother Kali revealed herself to some fortunate devotees that she was that truth, Divine Mother herself. Another case also we can quote that Shivuda, that is, one is Rameshwar's son, Sri Ramakrishna's brother Rameshwar's son, Ramlal Dada's brother, and he also had great faith in the Holy Mother, and she used to do worship in the temple in the Kamarpukur. And while accompanying Holy Mother to Jairampati one day, then he had pestered her till she confirmed that she was Mother Kali. And even she would not come away from Jairampati on another occasion until Holy Mother confirmed that she had taken his entire responsibility. She was Mother Kali herself. And then she was so happy while coming. He said, "Do you know Varada?" He accompanied him up to Amodar river. "Do you know Varada? She is Kapala Mochani. She can wipe out what she has written on the head. She is Mother Kali herself." So in this way, he revealed, Holy Mother revealed herself as Mother Kali, and to some as Jagadhatri and Bagala to that Harish. So she was Divine Mother itself is in so many ways we can say. And coming to the next, even we can say, even Swami Vivekananda, if you come, he was guided by Mother Kali throughout his life, and Sri Ramakrishna made him approve Mother Kali, because we know Sri Narendranath belonged to the realm of the 7 sages, and his natural inclination was to be immersed in that Nirvikalpa Samadhi, but Sri Ramakrishna knew if he will be like that, he cannot be used to fulfill his mission. So in those days he had to go through many misfortunes. His father died and he was utter poverty. Then he came to Sri Ramakrishna that you must pray to Mother Kali for me. And Sri Ramakrishna had said, "No, even if I pray, she would not hear, because you don't accept her. You yourself go and pray." And on one particular auspicious day, Sri Ramakrishna sent Narendranath to the Kali temple, but thrice Narendranath tried, but he failed to ask for worldly things. He could only ask for devotion, knowledge, and renunciation only. And anyway, Sri Ramakrishna blessed him ultimately that his family may not suffer from the minimum needs, plain food and clothing at least. So later, Swami Vivekananda in his later life, we find, he told once to Sister Nivedita, "How I used to hate Kali," I quote, "and all her ways. That was the ground of my 6 years fight, that I could not accept her. But I had to accept her at last. Sri Ramakrishna dedicated me to her, and now I believe that she guides me in every little thing I do and does with me what she will. I had great misfortunes at the time. It was an opportunity for her, and she made me a slave." These are the words of Swamiji. He was full of Nirakar, that spirit, but he had to accept the Mother Kali. And when Sri Ramakrishna knew that Narendra accepted, he was so happy. That day, anyone who came to meet Sri Ramakrishna, he said, "Do you know, Naren has accepted Mother Kali. How nice, how grand." Because unless Naren accepts Mother Kali, he cannot be used to work in this world to fulfill his mission. So that was his plan. And after that, Sri Ramakrishna did not live for long, I think only for 2 years. Even throughout, he was not well. Physically, he was not well. In Hindu religion, we believe the terrible and the benevolent, both aspects are same. The divine power, the divine mother. Rudra Madhura Bhava, we say. The divine, the benevolent and the terrible aspect. So Mother Kali has both these aspects, we can say. On one side, she is having Abhaya Varada Mudra, that is 2 hands, that is protecting everyone, giving Abhaya, Varada, bestower of moons to everyone, and she gives liberation, devotion. The other 2 hands, one she is holding the sword, and where she destroys the demonic qualities and demons and our ego and all our baser nature elements and instincts and all the negative forces in this world. And in that sword also there is the picture of the eye it is written, that is said to be the eye of wisdom. And so that cuts through all these temporary things, appearances, and takes us to the highest truth. And she is not merely a woman, she is Mahamaya, she is Shakti Swarupini, we know, and that's why Sri Ramakrishna actually thought she was none other than Brahman only. Even Sister Nivedita, Swami Vivekananda's disciple, she loved Mother Kali ideal. It is very strange. Being a foreigner, unused to all these Indian things, she loved this Mother Kali ideal, and she has written that book, Kali the Mother. Many of you might have read. And she also gave 2 lectures on Mother Kali, it seems. One in Albert Hall on 17th February 1899, another in Kalighat Temple on 29th May 1899, where she described Mother Kali as the liberator and eternal freedom she gives ultimately. And she also says that religion is not something made for gentle food. God gives life but also kills. Let us face willingly the terrible, ugly and the hard. And the definition of Kali many times may not go with our idea of Hindu women are supposed to be very shy and very modest and all. The Kali appears to be something very terrible. For this she says, Kali represents Mahamaya. She is not merely a woman, and she is actually Brahman with form. In reality, she is beyond form. She is actually Brahman only. And she is Brahmamayi Paratpara, the famous song maybe you have heard. And the symbolic that we see, Shiva and Kali, Shiva lying as dead body, that Niraka, Nirgun, Nishkriya, that reality, the formless reality. And Mother Kali is the potential, kinetic energy, which does the Srishti, Sthiti and Pralaya, that is creation, preservation and destruction. Unless these 2 come together, Shiva and Shakti, Prakriti and Purusha, the world cannot exist. They have to be in combination. Brahman is actionless, can't do anything. And Mother Kali also, she is touching, her feet is touching the chest of Shiva, and then only she can do all these things. So Mother Kali represents the supreme divine mother, and we can see the whole entire Ramakrishna order, even Brahmananda and many other disciples, they all loved Mother Kali aspect, and they thought that was the supreme reality. So in short, I say in this way, the Divine Mother Kali is behind this Ramakrishna order, behind Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Swamiji, and the whole order itself, and guiding it to its destiny. Thank you.
Om Jannim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padpadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. My pranams at the feet of all the deities enshrined here, pranams at the feet of revered Maharaj and Mataji, and namaskars to all devotees. We heard such a wonderful talk on Mother Kali. It was so refreshing. And but now, well, for my topic, let's come down to the ground reality of our sadhana. What we are doing in our sadhana, that will matter a lot in actually realizing these great ideas which you find in the lives of the great masters, spiritual masters of the world. So the topic for me is practical aspects of spiritual sadhana. What we do in our everyday lives and what we do in terms of sadhana is going to go a long way in understanding the consciousness of these great ones. So it will go a long way in developing devotion to them, because unless we understand them, their state of mind, their consciousness, how will you get devotion? So our sadhana becomes paramount. What are we doing in our everyday life? From the first person perspective, how are we leading our lives? What are we thinking about? What do we feel intensely about? How intense is our awareness? And where are our energies focused? This is very important. For this, the scriptures outline a few things which all of us can very well do in our everyday lives. And they tell us that if we are able to do that, we will naturally enter into the consciousness of God, which means you can make a connection with the divine in your own heart. So preparing the life and the human heart for a life of devotion, this is very important. The first thing which they ask us to do is a sattvic lifestyle. So, it's a funny thing, somebody has said this. People are willing to, of course, talk about God, fight for God, argue about God, do everything for God, but live in God. Living religion is very difficult. So, what do we mean by living religion? It starts with a sattvic lifestyle. What does sattvic mean? It means a harmonious state of mind where you are, in a sense, deeply connected with everything around you. Today, all the enormous climatic change which has occurred, all this is happening it only reflects the disharmony in ourselves. This is the primary change required to bring our own minds in harmony with our environment, to bring us, first of all, at peace with ourselves, with our neighbors, with the people around us, with the family, the members of our own family, to control our ways of thinking and feeling, which affect others immensely. So, bringing an overall harmony in our own inner lives, this is very important for sadhana. If this is not there, you can't bring peace from the outside. You can't bring peace from peace talks and peace conferences. It all starts with our heart. What are we thinking there, and what are the kinds of feelings we encourage there? And are we weeding out our negative emotions, our anger, our resentments? All this will determine the sattva of our lives. So if this sattvic background is not there, if we are very rajasic and tamasic, no amount of conferencing on all this is going to help us. So the initial thing is to develop sattvic habits, a sattvic way of life. So our scriptures are very clear on how to do this. They give us the primary disciplines of yam and niyam. For those who have traditionally studied the Yoga Sutras, you will know this is the fundamental aspect of yoga. Before we start thinking about the unfoldment of awareness and kundalini and all that, yam and niyam, getting established in this becomes very important. Otherwise, it will not stabilize our spiritual life. What is yam? They are nothing but ethical disciplines, and in our interactions with others, is there this level of control, this level of sattva? This is what these principles are gauging actually. So in yam, you have certain basic disciplines, which I'm sure all of you have heard, but I'll just outline them here. In yam, under yam, you have ahimsa as the first discipline, which means a non-violent state of mind. Well, we all believe in non-violence, but we also believe in anger in certain situations, isn't it? We feel that that's the way to control the situation. And well, if you don't have any kind of strong emotion, well, you can't control situations. We feel like that. But a non-violent attitude includes, first of all, non-violent attitudes of mind, which means no negativities in the mind. No anger, no resentments, no jealousy. This is an enormous discipline. All this comes under ahimsa. There is no sense of himsa towards any creature. There is only a very loving, compassionate, kind attitude. And that reflects in the words, it reflects on your face. So this is very primary to our spiritual discipline, ahimsa. Then you have asteya. Asteya is, actually it is translated as non-stealing. But obviously nobody is grossly stealing. But appropriating something which does not belong to me, to myself, is actually stealing. This is what they are meaning to say. Many times, in the modern world, of course you have copyright issues, you have plagiarism, ways of attributing to my ego what does not belong to me. In our everyday life also this can be happening. So getting rid of these tendencies, which means an ego-free life, a life where I have so investigated into my real nature that I don't rely on being what I am not. This is so very important. Asteya means this. And then after that you have the third discipline, which is brahmacharya. Actually it means continence. A sense of purity in the body, mind and heart. So very important. When you stay like that, you stay like a fresh flower, which can be offered to God. So this sense of freedom from strong impulses, freedom from negativities, freedom from passions, this is very essential for spiritual sadhana. That is why brahmacharya. It is freedom from the life, from the instinctual life. When we observe this, we become deeply conscious and we understand what sadhana is about. That is why this discipline is insisted upon. Then we have, there's one discipline, satya, which is of course truthfulness. Without commitment to being truthful in speech, in thought, and absolutely in mind, how can we reach the ultimate truth? Because your own mind has to intuit that level, that consciousness. If it is committed to untrue living, to untruthful words and thoughts, unlawful thoughts, how will it reach that truth? So it's a discipline of the mind fundamentally, where you refuse to believe or think of that which is untrue. It's a great discipline. In fact, this Satya, Sri Ramakrishna used to insist that one who has no absolute commitment to truth will not reach the absolute consciousness, will not reach Brahman. Which is pretty obvious. You see, if you are constantly thinking of that which is not true, your mind gets colored by the false. So obviously you can't reach the truth. So this is the discipline of Satya, and then of course you have aparigraha under Yama, which means not receiving gifts. This may appear very strange in today's modern lifestyle where we are used to gifting and receiving gifts. It's a sign of love and respect. But don't take what you do not need or pass it on. Accept it with respect but pass it on. This discipline becomes important for the yogi because it handles his karmic account. The more you receive, the more you have to give back. So all these disciplines together constitute yama. They bring us to a state of mind which is very sattvic. Without this state of mind, it is fruitless to pursue sadhana. So these disciplines are important. Then we have niyam, the second set of disciplines. It's not that easy, spiritual sadhana. These two are considered fundamental to yoga. So niyam includes another set of disciplines which are, you can say, more personal. It's to do with your mind. The first discipline there is shaucha, which means cleanliness of body and mind. Of course, this is pretty obvious. Then there is santosha, which is contentment, which means with whatever I have, I am able to subsist and move ahead in the spiritual life. If I keep thinking and remembering things which I have not, have not is a difficult word here in the US, but what I'm trying to say is, if we are craving constantly for things which we do not have, how will sadhana be possible? So this basic sense of contentment, I'm happy with what I have, and I would rather research into my inner being, into myself, rather than just pursue outside objects. This feeling, this sense. So actually speaking, it's a very intelligent way to live. If we are not thankful and grateful and contented with what we have, you don't live your life fully. You're always thinking of what you don't have. That's an unintelligent way to live. So this is another basic discipline. Then you have tapas. Tapas is the feeling of austerity in life. I like to subsist on just as much as I require and not keep adding on. If you actually check your own home, there will be at least 100 objects which you don't require. I can tell you that. Your closets and your everything is full of things which you are not using on an everyday basis. They are accumulations based upon somebody's love of them. Your friend likes them, so you just bought it. Your neighbor has it, so you just bought it. So getting rid of this tendency. Tapasya means only taking from life as much as you require and putting back what you don't require. This is very essential for growth in the spiritual life. If we go on accumulating things which I don't need, which I don't require, my vital energy is wasted in maintaining all that. It means nothing. In the evening of our lives, we'll keep regretting, oh, I wasted my time on this and that. So, just putting it aside, what you really don't need, and just focusing on the real goals of human life. This is tapas in the very practical sense. And then you have swadhyay, which means daily scriptural exposure on an everyday basis, not just the Sunday talk. in India, there's no such thing as Sunday talk. Every day at least you must try to do some spiritual discipline. Keep in touch with some scripture, so that it's an everyday renewal of your mind. Just like how you press the refresh button on your screens, like that you refresh the mind every day. Otherwise, it will accumulate a lot of unwanted things. All the junk files will go on building up, and then clean up once a week is not enough. So every day you purge the mind of unnecessary thought by doing all this, by plunging into the scriptures, by thinking about the words of God, by reading the gospel, by exposure to scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita. It's really like taking a Ganga Snan, I'm telling you. You feel so refreshed when your mind is in touch with your soul, with the pure awareness that you are, and you have kept all the unnecessary things out. An overcluttered mind cannot do sadhana. Please understand. So that is why these disciplines, Swadhyaya and then Ishwar Pranidhan, surrender to the divine, love of the divine. A mind, the human mind is meant for God consciousness. That is the highest reach of the human mind. If I don't taste something of that every day through my devotional practices, what is the point? I'm constantly searching, solutions for the unhappy mind, or what we today call mental health issues. They are all happening because I am not in touch with the pure awareness that I am. I am not in touch with God. I am only in touch with silly vrittis, silly modifications of mind, which objectify as this world around me. So when we get up early in the morning, check and see what we do. The first thing many people do is a cup of coffee. Okay, that's at least okay, but the second thing you do is breaking news. The third thing is go to your Facebook account. Many people live like this. And by about 10 a.m. they are exhausted. Then it's time to drive for office. So you see, we have created a lifestyle which is fundamentally exhausting to the mind. This is not a sattvic way of life. So changing this routine, when you get up, first thing will be, after our ablutions, it will be prayer. First thing will be a little good chanting, or at least hearing some good music or something like that. Meditation, calming the mind. Yoga, exercises, taking long walks, proximity with nature. This will be the sattvic way of mind. And the world, as it impinges on our senses and mind, that will come later on. Later on, after your breakfast, you can do all that. When the rajas shoots up in your system, then you can start the interaction with the world. But at least the mornings and the evenings, dawn and dusk, should be very sattvic. Just practice this and see, and you will feel so refreshed. And then we understand the mistakes we are making. No point in discussing sadhana until our life energies are moving like this. So a little commitment towards all this is very important. So the first point which I put for today's talk is lifestyle changes. Sattvic ways of living. And then changing our everyday habits, these habits which I spoke of. There's something very deep to the psychology of habit forming, which actually I teach as part of that contemplative psychology. There are three elements to any habit. The first is a habit cue, what is called, that which triggers the habit. And then you have a habit routine, and then you have a reward mechanism which is fairly subconscious. You're not conscious of it. What are these elements? See, what do they mean? First thing is rapid cues. If you keep the right things close to you, you will learn to develop the right habits. For example, if you are going to keep your coffee maker close to you in the early morning, and say your mobile phone, you will be naturally, it will trigger the habit of having your coffee and going to your Facebook account. But if you keep your yoga mat close to you, and you keep maybe the Om chanting or something like that close to you, you keep your meditation asana close to you, or you create a consecrated space in your homes where the first thing you do in the morning is you go into that space. Naturally, the habit of this morning sattvic lifestyle will become natural to you. So the habit cue or the trigger for the habit must be kept close to you. Keep the right things close to you. In our own homes, you see, this is very practical to do. For those of us who can do it, actually setting aside a space for daily sadhana is very helpful. So early mornings you go there. The mind will naturally want to meditate. It will want to remain quiet. It will want to pray. And then the second element of the habit is the habit routine, which means once you create a routine of a habit, you know it is very, very, very difficult to break that routine. What I mean to say is, if you have kept the right habit cues close to you, it will naturally generate a habit, a routine for you to, after this, after this. So a routine is very important in life. Many times we believe, oh, it's an infringement on our freedom. Not at all. For those of us who are at least 50, we know that it's not so. It will actually regulate our life energies. So a kind of routine based on our cues are very important, is very important. So every day it goes like that, the mind gets naturally conditioned towards sattva, a sattvic way of living. And then of course the reward mechanism, the third element of the habit is, you must feel good as a result of that habit. So morning meditation, taking a long walk, proximity with nature, all this will naturally give you a very refreshing sense of, freedom, being, awareness, aliveness. These are all connected words. If your vital energies are moving in a particular way, you will feel deeply alive and intensely aware in mind. So these states are to be experienced, then devotion to God becomes easy. Otherwise, you're messed up with some lingering worry of yesterday and maybe some fear or some anger. That's no way to live. So daily purging the mind of all this, plunging into sadhana in the mornings and using these sattvic ways to gear up our energies for higher effort, this becomes very important. Then, of course, one more practical point which I would like to give you about making the right habits is, learn to handle your gadgets properly. Because all of us use a mobile phone. But you know how we use it in our monasteries and nunneries. I would just like to make this point. We have very definite times when we check our messages. Not the whole day long. Not right from the morning when you get up. If you keep the ringtone on all the time, which means you never put your phone into silent mode, you will constantly keep getting your notifications and messages, and your attention keeps splitting. You see, from the subjective end, from the first person standpoint, it's a sheer waste of attention, isn't it? But at a definite time, if you see for your messages, like say morning hours from say 10 to 10:30 or 10 to 11, I will see my messages, I'll do whatever, I'll answer my mails, that's fine. But the whole day, whole morning, you have not been engaged in it. So this is one way of handling our gadgets maturely, especially our mobile phones. Same thing can be repeated in the evening. But the whole day the phone is always on and always ringing, and it's a sheer waste of time. In fact, I know many professors in these higher learning institutes who don't keep a mobile phone. They check it only at the end of the day. Because they are so involved in research, they can't bear the splitting of attention. They deliberately don't keep it with them. So this is important if we want to live an intense life. Otherwise, of course, a million things can distract you throughout the day. Then there is the cognitive reframing, what we say. I think many of you have heard of this, which means for a practical working of your sadhana, it is important to keep positivity in the mind. So deliberately keeping our thoughts positive and What do I mean by that? How do you do that? That is what is called cognitive reframing, which means your cognitions are reframed towards positivity. How? By using positive expressions in your speech, by being thankful constantly for the bounties of your life, by being grateful. See, if you are not grateful for all that has come into our lives, we have lost a huge chunk of the good life. If we are constantly complaining or regretful or worrying, how can sadhana be possible? So, deliberately changing the ways of our mind, keeping it grateful, thankful, positive, constantly talking positive things, making sure that negativities don't reign in the mind, that worries don't remain in the mind. Every day is a fresh day. Every day you press the refresh button first on your mind, then on your screens. This is so very important. So, cognitive reframing is about making sure the mind remains positive throughout the day. So, when you have positive thought, you have immense energy in your system. When there is negative thought, your energy drains away. Check this out and see. So, deliberately being positive. Even if there's a lot of negativity around you, you can be very positive. There are people like that. So, changing these tendencies of our mind is very important for this. Then only if we are able to do something of all this, then spiritual practice or real sadhana is possible. And you know very well, many of you have been coming to the center for long, I heard. So you know very well how it changes our very brain. Spiritual practice, real sadhana, meditation will change your entire neural chemistry. It will change the neural connections in your brain. It will change your neurobiology. It will reverse even aging. It will change the key neurotransmitters that are released in your system. Do you know that? So it changes your entire neurochemistry. There's been enough research on all this. If you go on the net, you will find all the experiments which have been done along these lines and all the findings. I recently gave a talk in one of the institutes in India on this, the effects of meditation on the brain. So enormous changes can be made within ourselves just by the practice of meditation. It releases your happy chemicals, what are called. So, and of course, your moods, your emotions, all of them, when you dip them into awareness, they become something else, they become divine. They can be really offered at the feet of God. So taste this, otherwise, when you don't take a dip into pure awareness every day, it's like missing your bath. Yes, you're just like how if you miss taking a bath, say 2-3 days you don't take a bath. How do you feel? You don't feel good. So also if your mind doesn't touch these states, you won't feel good. It's not just about discussing and reading, it's not just about that. The mind should find its opening into the soul. It should touch that soul force every day. It should touch the feet of God every day. And then you will live a refreshingly new life every day. Like when we were babies, we hardly needed a cause, a trigger to laugh and to be happy. Until we were 7, 8, we were like that. Then we became our this usual self. The idea is this: constant touch with the positive, with the good, when heaven, as it were, reigns around you all the time. So this is only possible when your mind touches your real being, when you touch the feet of God. So spiritual practice is about that. Sadhana is about that. And sadhana is only possible through these practical aspects of the spiritual life, which means keeping the mind positive, sattvic ways of life, sattvic habits. If all these are conditioned into our system, then great spiritual sadhana will be possible. I would like to conclude with this, and I pray that Mother give us the strength to make this really practical in our everyday lives. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.